Hello and welcome back to the I Fox the Juice podcast. I'm your host Juice, and I'm here with my co-host, the suspicious murder to my Jeffrey Epstein.
Dude, did you see the latest on that?
What do you mean by latest? There's so many layers to it.
The latest is that they found broken. He had a broken neck or something in the autopsy report.
Yeah, I skimmed over that. I didn't go into the detail. Honestly, I have kind of gone against not reading too much into it because I know myself. I'll Eddie Bravo this shit, man. I'll be online for fucking 12 hours a day looking into it.
Yeah,
literally looking into it.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay, he has a broken neck. Sure, it could have been from strangulation, or somebody may have done it to him, but whatever. We'll never know the truth.
I hope we do.
I doubt it, man.
I mean, we still don't even know the truth about Kennedy, but one day we do. Hey, we learned about MK Ultra and some of these crazy operations. I think it's possible.
Yeah, maybe in my son's lifetime. I don't know.
Your son's lifetime, yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah. Yeah, as we've seen lately, bad shit happens to people who expose governments. Look at Snowden and Julian Assange. But yeah, I can only imagine. You don't want to really know what Jeffrey Epstein knew, but goddamn it, you also want to know. It's one of those weird catch-22 things. Like, you don't want to know how deep it goes, but it's important.
Yeah, I think it was. So Brian Callen and Schaub, they were talking about it, and Brian Callen was saying, it's possible that he was a spy. That's how he got all his money. He was trying to get all this, video surveillance or, evidence or something of all these, rich people and
I've heard
leaders. And, because nobody can really answer, how he got his money other than, he was paid by the government, someone's government.
Yeah, that all his money was through blackmail, and I've heard also that Israel was paying for his money because he was an Israeli spy, and I don't know what they were trying to do, but I've heard all kinds of crazy shit too.
Yeah, see, I like that story.
The Israel one.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I would believe that more than anything else. I think because how could you have all that money but you can't trace it?
Yeah.
It's weird, man. So he's got to be some kind of spy, or
that may be a dude. People say, the only guaranteed death and taxes. That may be a guy who's probably never paid taxes in his life because he had the government in his back pocket and you want me to pay taxes? You know what I know about you?
Yeah.
That's some crazy shit. Anyway, that's current events for right now. We're gonna talk fights. UFC 241 is happening this weekend, which I will be attending, and which I will also be trying to do my best to keep active on social media. So that's going to be a big focal point of this podcast. I'm going to review Montevideo, talk about some headlines, matchups, news story. You guys know the deal, so let's get into it. And let's start with our review of UFC Montevideo. So we talked about Tecia Torres. We're talking about Tecia Torres and Marina Rodriguez. That was one of the fights we covered. And we both went with Tecia. Did not get the job done. She lost the unanimous decision. It was not exactly dominant, but it was obvious who won. And Tecia just looked very tentative. It looked a lot, I don't mean this to demean her, but this is what kept coming across my mind when I watched it, is it looked like a little sister trying to fight her big sister and just coming up short. No pun intended. But, she just, this is 4 in a row for her now. And we're going to talk about some prominent fighters keep being cut a little bit later on in the show. But given her performance, given her record, what do you think, Reen? Is she prime? Is she on the chopping block?
In Ticia's case, I don't think so. Not yet.
I want to say so too. And 115 is probably the most stacked division in women's MMA. And Marina Rodriguez, I think, is a promising prospect, but I don't know, man. We're gonna, and I don't know if you want to touch on this later. If you do, just bring it up. But some of the stuff that has come out this week about the tactics of the UFC and Joe Silva in the past, about some of these emails between him and Dana about there's so many fighters, like it kind of, I don't know, it starts to paint a grim picture of like how many people are they gonna get rid of.
Yeah, well, Tisha's still a draw. I mean, she's still a fan favorite, so she
You think
has
so?
that.
It
I
seems
think
like
so. It
it seems like
seems
a lot of people hate on her. Not
really.
yeah, like not that I hate on her, but they kind of think she's overrated. I've seen
What?
that a lot. Yeah, I've seen that a
Oh
lot.
wow.
I know this because I'm a big Tisha fan, and anytime I'd be like, Tisha could. It can be something as simple. Oh, I think Tisha's gonna win this fight, or like, oh, I think she's a good striker. Even shit like that, people were like, oh, bro, she's so basic, and all she keeps doing the same thing. They kind of almost like compare her to like Holly Holm or something of like she doesn't have power and
Oh
all
damn.
she's got. Yeah, it's weird. I've never understood it. I've always thought she was very good, but I don't know.
See that? How is Angela Hill still around? She was here. She left and she came back again.
And I like Angela Hill too. And yeah, I mean, you make a good point. She just had a replacement. I believe it's Stella Nunes, the one that she was gonna fight in Mexico City. She got flagged by Osada, and she's being replaced. I did not write down that information, so I don't know who it was. That's another story for another day, perhaps. But I mean, you're right, and she came in really green from the Ultimate Fighter. She wasn't ready for the UFC then. I think she is now, and they've given her a lot of rough matchups.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't want to see her cut either. And I don't know. I don't want to sound like a WMMA apologist, like, oh, don't cut any of the girls because they deserve this shot. Like, we've DM'd and messaged each other all week about a certain girl who probably needs to be cut. We're not we're not in this line of thinking, but it's like, yeah, it's weird with Torres and yeah, even Hill because it's like they're young. I don't know if I want to say promising, but it's like they still have room to improve, I think.
Yeah, well, it just Tisha's fought champions except for Wiley. What she could possibly become a champion. So I think she still has some clout there, to remain on the roster in comparison to like other fighters or even Hill. Like Hill almost seems like a gatekeeper to me too. Now that I think about it.
She kind of is. She's like a gatekeeper to like for the newcomers and stuff. I don't know. I don't want to call her an action fighter because when I think action fighter, I think like Cowboy Cerrone, Justin Gaethje, Tony Ferguson, people like that. And I don't think Angela Hill's that, but I think she is exciting. I think she has her own little thing going on. But that's just me. I know I may be in the minority.
Yeah. I mean, I like Angela Hill. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to talk shit about her, but
I get you.
But yeah, that's just rough, man. Like 4 in a row for her. It bothered me when they faced off. I'm like, holy shit, Marina's so much bigger. So
yeah, and when you see the fight play out, that's exactly what it like. It's one of the first times where like Joanna is much bigger than Tisha too, but that was like a skill issue, not exactly a size issue. But in this one, it was like, yeah, she got bullied. She got bullied. So we'll see what's happening. Yeah, we'll see what happens with Torres in the future. I hope she doesn't get cut, but who knows what her next matchup's going to be. Probably some newcomer. I hope they keep her around at least for one more. That's just me. Another fight that we talked about was Volkan Ozdemir and Ilir Latifi. Volkan got the second round knockout, and boy, did he knock Latifi out. That was the one thing I mentioned was that I don't trust Latifi's chin. Did you go for Volkan?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, I remember now. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, he flatlined Latifi, man. And, man, I know Latifi doesn't have the best gas tank, but he looked extra tired in this one. It seemed like his gas tank ran for like 4 minutes, and he just started dying. Second round, Ozdemir just took over and treated him like a punching bag, honestly. He landed a knee in the second round, and after that, he severely hurt him, and then he just kind of went to work on him and flatlined him with the left hook and some ground and pound.
Yeah, it was pretty.
It was pretty brutal.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Sorry, TV. Yeah, I saw that knee, the straight right, and then the hook that put him down. It was insane, just that combo.
He was slow That's what it was. I do see improvements with Ozdemir because he was flowing. It seems like sometimes he kind of forces his punches or he's just winging them. He's just like fuck it, he goes kind of wild and brawls. But he didn't seem like he was brawling in this one, and I was really impressed even before the knockout because I was like, you know what, his nickname is No Time. He's known for his finishes, and in this one it looked like he was taking his time. It wasn't just like he wanted to like, all right, I'll if I win a decision, cool. It seemed like no, like I'm gonna take my time and I can still knock this dude out. He looked confident the whole time.
Yeah, I think that's what Bisping mentioned too. Like, he looks really good, the best he's seen. Yeah, he needed this win, so good for him.
Do you know if he's still with Hooft?
I think so.
Because I heard something, I believe on the podcast, they were saying that on the podcast, the broadcast. I don't know if it was Bisping or the other guy said that I guess Ozdemir was living in the States, and I guess he recently got a divorce, and I think he moved. I don't know if he went back to Switzerland or whatever, but yeah, I guess this camp wasn't in the States.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what he's been doing, but
whatever he's been doing, like, it worked. And this is the fight that they kept on like changing the dates around, right?
Yeah, it was supposed to happen in New Jersey 2 weeks ago, and then originally it was taking place in Stockholm a few months back, I believe. So yeah, it finally happened, and yeah, Ozdemir got that knockout, man. I don't know what Latifi's recent record is. I mean, I think he'll be back. It's light heavyweight, but what do you think could be next for Volkan? You think he's up there again, or you think he should just take more fights?
I think, take more fights. Just take his time.
Pretty good with light heavyweight, but has him and Jan Blachowicz ever fought? That'd be good. I know he's kind of like, he may be next in line because he knocked out Luke, and they wanted to give Luke the title shot, but I don't know. I think that might be a good fight.
Yeah.
Especially because
might be.
Especially because Jan is, more of the tactician, more of the. If he really wants to work on his patience, I mean, they don't come much more patient than Jan. I mean, that's what we were so impressed with Thiago Santos, was that he outweighted, out-timed Jan Blachowicz.
True. Isn't Jan like campaigning for a title shot though? I thought he was recently.
Well, as soon as he beat Luke, he was like, "Yeah, you wanted to give him the shot.
Yeah.
What about me? Like, I've been the one in this division, and you're not gonna give me anything."
Right. And then Dominic Reyes is fighting who?
Weidman.
That's right. Yes, Weidman's coming in.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have minded Ozdemir Reyes rematch because even though I still kind of think Reyes did win, obviously, and Ozdemir would definitely want that back, but we're kind of past that right now. It seems like.
Yeah, maybe Volkan and Jan.
Yeah, I'd like to see it, especially that Jan really didn't get hurt in the fight against Luke. Like, I don't know when he's planning to come back or what he's trying to do, but they could do this at the end of the year.
True. Yep.
Yeah. Co-main event, Mike Perry lost to Vicente Luque in a controversial fight. I think I texted you right after this, right, Reen? I'm saying that who won. Well, I was texting you during the fight. I'm like, who's winning? Because it seemed close to the whole fight.
Yeah, I thought Perry won, to be honest with you.
I didn't really think so at first, and then I rewatched it, and yeah, I think so too. I think he won the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, it was really close. It was a really good fight too, by the way. Oh, god damn, dude. Mike Perry, man. I like him. I really like him now. Before, I was just like, he's a brawler, whatever. No, this time, he was more technical.
He's smart, which is one thing I never thought to say about it. But honestly, as a fighter, he's smart. He makes the right decisions. He doesn't make the right decisions every time, granted, but for the most part, he does.
This time he did with a really good, like a tactician, right? Like
a little bit.
Yeah, silent assassin. I mean, he has that name for a reason.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. Luque is a guy. I thought he was. Not just because of his character and his demeanor. I mean, I thought he'd brawl with him because it's like we saw in the Barberena fight, Luque's down to brawl.
Yeah.
And I thought Perry would be like, well, my best chance would be to brawl with this dude and hope I get lucky. But his jab, he was throwing a fucking piston of a jab, man. He was hurting Luque with it. He had some pretty good knees. But then Luque outdid him with the knees and fucking broke his nose. Jesus Christ. It's actually, it's really, I might as well get into it right now. It's gonna go right into our tweet of the week, which goes out to Fukalo, drunk ass Uncle Bobby, and shout outs to them. Shout out to Uncle Bobby and Just Bleed. I was on their podcast yesterday. If you guys haven't listened to it, I put it on social media. Look up their last episode. I did like a little 15-minute guest spot talking about the card of this week. But he tweeted, this is like one of those scenes, those scenarios that they do on Twitter all the time. It says, discount plastic surgeon. What you need, Mike Perry. I want more of an ethnic nose so I look more like my people. Discount plastic surgeon. Say no more, fam. And it's a picture of him with his fucked up ass nose.
It's fucking horrible, dude. When I saw that, I instantly thought of Arlovsky. And then I saw that later on. Like, oh my god, he looks like Andre Arlovsky. Somebody tweeted that out. Like a side-by-side picture.
Yeah, when I saw it, I was like, dude, especially when I saw the picture. When I saw it live, I was just horrified. But, man, honestly, it looks like a canyon crevice. Like, have you seen those pictures of, like, Utah and, like, the Grand Canyon where you see, like, all the cracks in the mountains? That's what his nose looks like.
Dude, that was horrible, man. Poor guy.
I was terrified when he was going for that guillotine because he kept bleeding. I thought it was a cut.
God.
And then you get up and you're like, oh, his nose is broken. I'm like, damn, that was a lot of fucking blood for his nose. And then you see it and you're like, ugh.
Good. It was crazy. Like, did you notice the camera had a blood splatter?
Yeah, and that wasn't even from his nose. That was from, I think, Luke. That was from earlier in the round. Yeah.
It was so crazy. I'm like, oh shit, there's blood right there on the camera.
Props to them. I mean,
crazy.
They got fight of the night, but I don't know. I kind of feel bad for Perry because aside from physically just looking at him, like most of that money is probably going to the hospital bill, man. Like,
for real, right?
He had to go into emergency surgery. I guess he's all right now, but Jesus, he looks like a fucking mummy.
Yeah, he gave Luke props. Like, yeah, next time I should just keep my hands up or whatever. God, fuck me for having this fucking chin or something.
I think he said something too like, good on you, Luke, good fight. But why'd you have to do my nose like that, man? I think he said something like that. Like,
yeah.
Why'd you have to do that, bro?
Yeah, and then he says something about, like, training with him.
Oh,
after
really?
He gets better. Yeah.
I didn't catch that one.
Yeah, helping him with his wrestling.
Did you? Oh, that's good, man. Perry's actually becoming like a martial artist. It's weird. He's gone a long way since his hood rat Florida criminal days, man. Did you see the walkout? Did you see his girlfriend?
Yeah.
Dude, those motherfuckers are made for each other, man.
Why was so many people talking shit about that? I don't understand it.
Because it's a white girl thing. And a blonde white girl. Hey, I know, and then Colby, I know, did that, oh, your horse-faced girlfriend or whatever. They're obviously a wild couple, but if you guys ain't seen Danielle's ass, Jesus Christ. Oh, my God, fucking Mike Perry, man. He got it good. But that shit was so funny, seeing her dance and sing, and oh, my God, it was so fucking ghetto-rific, man. I tweeted during the fight. It reminds me of that Cedric the Entertainer bit. Have you ever seen the original Kings of Comedy?
A long time ago.
Cedric
I remember now.
Cedric has a bit in that special on his part. He's talking about ghetto weddings. He's like, y'all ever been to a ghetto wedding? Seen two ghetto ass people get together in holy matrimony? It's a scary ass sight. And so like the flower girls ain't got no flowers. They're throwing out sunflower seeds. People picking them up, eating them. I kept thinking about that when I saw them because they said that they were gonna get married soon. I was like, that whole bit. That's exactly what's gonna happen. That's gonna be the perfect example of a ghetto wedding, man.
Oh my God, so funny.
And I'm not one that wants to go to weddings, man. I think most normal people don't. I want to go to his wedding, man. You know that shit's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah, it'll be popping, man. Fuck yeah, man. It'll be wild.
I mean, there might be a brawl or two and someone might get shot, but it'll be fun up to that point. And trust some damn Floridians.
I enjoyed her dancing, man. I'm like, good for you, girl. You know the words and everything. I'm like, damn, girl, you go.
If I see a girl like Danielle at a concert, I love that chick, man. I want to see the girl that's into it. I want to see the girl singing and dancing and not giving a fuck about the people around her, you know? I much rather be with that person than the person sitting all the time.
Yep, exactly.
I want
someone holding up the goddamn wall and shit.
Yeah. I like that girl, man. But so props to him. And Fortunate for him, so I think they're supposed to get married next month. So I don't know how it's gonna look for Perry, but he's also got platinum tattooed on his face, so I don't think looks is the thing he's worried about.
Huh. They could just like Photoshop the nose or something.
Well,
Fix it.
I think his nose might be all right. I wouldn't be surprised if he still got bruising and shit though. But I guess he could put on.
Swelling.
Yeah, he might. I guess he could put on makeup. That can maybe be done.
Just ask Colby about that.
Wait, why Colby?
Because I guess he used makeup to cover up that cut on his lid. Because I guess he had like a really bad cut.
Oh, that's right. Like a week or two before the fight, right? That he probably would have pulled out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Okay. And then Kevin Lee with a staph infection, which is, I like Kevin Lee, man, but that's fucked up, man.
That's so gross.
I should have arrested him for that shit.
God damn it, dirty bird.
I think he's learned now, though. Hey, he's training with TriStar now. I mean, I hope. I'm not the biggest fan of TriStar, but I think it can work well for him.
Oh shit, he's in Canada now. He's with.
Oh yeah, you didn't know that? Yeah, this is old. Oh. I think it was like 2-3 weeks ago, but I don't think we ever touched on it. But yeah, he's basically said, like, I've always been a big GSP fan, and I kind of modeled myself after him. I knew we have like similar traits, and I've always been interested. I've always admired the hobby, and I've always wanted to train with him. And I guess he did, and he actually wanted to fight George. He's like, come on, man. And George was like, I guess was honest with him. He told him, like, look, dude, you're a very talented guy, and not that I have anything against you, but if I'm going to fight, I'm going to get some money out of it, you know? Like, you're not the kind of guy I'm looking for right now.
That's interesting.
Cool. Yeah, and he was cool with it. He's like, hey, man. He was basically like, look, I shot my shot. I wanted to make some money, too, but if he ain't interested, what can I do? I'm not going to fucking fight him because he won't fight me, you know?
That's crazy. Woodley's up there now, too, training with GSP.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
Which is more interesting with Woodley because Rory beat him. You know, that was one of his only losses before he lost to Usman. So obviously the hobby knows how to beat him. If you're gonna train with a guy who's already beat you, who's game plans a way to beat you, it can't be bad. Plus Woodley tends to be a boring fighter at times too, so I don't think he really cares that they may have different strategies for him.
Yeah, Rufus was all for it, like him working with GSP.
Rufus has always done that too. I remember Pettis tried to go to Jackson Wink for a while. It was only for like a fight or two, and he was like, hey, do what you got to do. I think he was going for like the wrestling or whatever, but he ended up coming back. That's really cool of Rufus. We're going to talk about him later, obviously, because it's Showtime, but yeah, he's always been like that, and that's really cool. You hear word of so many gyms that, they think it's like a marriage.
Yeah.
Your students can't go anywhere else, you know?
Yeah, people get so weirded out about that. They get mad, jealous, angry. Oh, betrayal. Get the fuck out of here, man. You're not the one fighting.
Yeah, it's not a gang, man.
Uh-huh. It's a team, but it's like, it's not a team. Like, the fighter is in there by himself. Like, come on now.
Oh, we'll talk about the main event. Wasn't much to write home about, but...
Snore.
I mean, like, I really do appreciate Shevchenko. Like, I don't think I've ever really been bored. I've said this a few times already. Like, I actually enjoyed the rematch between her and Nunes. Yeah, it wasn't super entertaining, but I didn't think it was as boring as people say. Some people say it's like one of the worst fights in MMA history. This one was worse than that. Not a lot happened, but I'm really trying to figure out what Carmouche's game plan was. Obviously, it was don't get hit, but I don't know what her game plan was as far as offense.
Yeah, her corner, I'm like, you have a brilliant, like, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter in your corner. I think it was Boogie, 10th Planet. She had her too, but like an actual MMA coach, she didn't have that. She had a fighter, she had a BJJ, specialist, but not an actual MMA coach.
Manolo wasn't there?
I don't think so, but maybe he was. But he wasn't doing a lot of the talking. It was, it was the two of them really talking and giving her instructions. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? You're doing good. You're going with the game plan. Like, what game plan was there?
Yeah.
I think she should have been a little bit more aggressive by the third round at least, and just try to take her down.
Yeah, I was actually kind of giving her credit, and I kind of think she won the first round. she didn't do much, but I thought Shevchenko did less. So I'm like, all right, by default, I'll kind of give it to Carmouche. I'm not one of those people that you need to do a lot to win a round from a champion. If champion's not doing much, they deserve to lose too. Like I think with Edgar and Holloway, I gave Edgar the first round too because Holloway really wasn't doing much. But that's also Shevchenko and Holloway style. They're kind of similar in that they kind of take their time. They're kind of slow starters. I mean, I can't blame Shevchenko. She did as much as she could. She did the bare minimum and did as much as she could with it. I think people got to realize, I think there's a thing of, I think Jessica Ai gets a lot of unnecessary hate, especially if she got knocked out. Like, oh, she sucks. You got knocked out by this girl who never knocked out anybody or whatever. But, like, dude, Jessica Ai, she may be a weird one, but she tends to, for the most part, she tends to push the action. And that's exactly what Shevchenko wants. It worked, right into her hands. And Carmouche obviously didn't want to do that, but she couldn't do anything. Yeah, she couldn't do anything to win either. I mean, she just seemed content to survive.
Yeah, 5 rounds did absolutely nothing. Stuck with the same game plan.
She got those heel kicks to the thigh. Which, to be fair, those look like they hurt like a bitch. But, I mean, come on. It was the 4th or 5th round. What are they going to do?
Yeah. Had her on the ground. Couldn't do anything with her anyways. So, I'm like, okay. I mean, Valentina ended up taking her down. You got her on the ground. I mean, she took you down, but you got her on the ground now, and then there's nothing. There's no action.
Carmouche seems kind of like, she's always struck me as an interesting fighter, too, because obviously she's very strong, but she also seems very flexible. And then we got to remember, too, I mean, she almost submitted Ronda. That wasn't an accident. Like, she didn't get lucky. Like, she got that. She's a good grappler, but props to Shevchenko. It shows how good she is on the mat. But, yeah, she really wasn't trying.
And then she's talking about having a trilogy fight. Come on, Liz.
You know what? This is going to sound lame, but it's funny. I thought the same thing, like in the 3rd round. Once it was obvious that she wasn't going to do anything, I was like, is she purposely – I'm not going to say throwing the fight because that makes it sound like they paid her off or something, but that's not what I mean. But, like, I was kind of thinking, like, is she purposely, like, going to lose this fight and things of, like, oh, okay, well, I lost, but I still beat her once, so if I get 1 or 2 more wins, I can go back up here like, hey, we're tied. It's 1-1. Let's settle it for real this time. I actually did think that. I know that sounds stupid, but I did think that as I was watching because I'm like, there's no other reason to fight like this. I know, and I know, like Bisping was saying, like, it's scary once you're in there, especially if you see, like, the highlight of her knocking out Ai and stuff, but this Carmouche is a Marine, man. I don't think she's exactly scared of getting knocked out, Like, she's always been a pretty aggressive and fearless fighter, I think. So, I'll be honest. I did think that for a second.
It was a good night. The Mike Perry fight, Luque fight. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, phew. My dick was hard, and then you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those, like, sorry for saying that, but I was so excited, and next thing you know, it's like, oh, damn it. Fuck.
And then the wife called.
Damn it, man.
I'm saying it in reference for you, Reen.
I couldn't finish it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it wasn't a bad. Some people were saying that it sucked, but no, it was some decent fights. Oh, I don't know if you caught the fight, but did you see at least that picture of what's the guy's name? The guy that we were talking about, the skinny Brazilian dude, Paiva. That gash he had on his eyebrow. Did you see a picture of that?
Oh my god, that's disgusting. Yes. Oh yeah. God, I totally forgot about it until now. Oh Jesus.
That fight lasted like 3 minutes, and it was super violent, man. Like, that probably could have been fight of the night. That probably would have beat Luque and Perry if they were gonna keep going that way. But
oh my god, that's like the worst cut I've ever seen.
It's up there. It's up there with like Eastman, like Marvin Eastman. Remember Vitor and Marvin Eastman?
God.
Back in the day, that was bad.
God. That thing was just split wide open. Like, it was all you could see, like the white meat. Like,
yeah, it looked like a gutted fish. Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh, and did you catch Macedo one? I don't know if you saw that. Veronica Macedo.
Damn it! I forgot to look at the highlight on that.
She subbed Viana.
Yes.
In like a minute.
Yes. Maybe I did see it. Now I just don't recall because I've just been so like focused on UFC 241.
Yeah, she
But
subbed her though in like a minute or two, and
the first round, right, or something?
yeah,
That's something insane.
yeah, the armbar, real
Yeah,
armbar, like, and it's Gianna who's a legit black belt, you know. Well,
yeah, that's right.
good for her, man. I was so happy for her because I'm a fan, and you know we talked about for months when we heard about this fight, like it was supposed to be her and Ostovich, and we're like, does the loser get cut here? We didn't know how it was gonna go because Macedo's good, but she tends to shit the bed every once in a while. Viana's a better fighter than Ostovich, obviously, but she
Yeah,
looked even. I mean, I don't know how she could have looked more impressive. You submit a black belt, and you're supposed to be a striker. And that's
yeah.
pretty goddamn good.
Good for her, man.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad that other girl dropped off.
Uh, well, I don't. I want to say that it probably would have been easier, but who the hell knows?
It would
Whatever
have
it
been
was,
more. It wouldn't have been impressive.
not as impressive as Viana.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
you go. Yeah.
I feel the same way. That does it for the rewind. Let's get into the preview of UFC 241. And we're going to start with the very first fight on the card. It's taking place on Fight Pass. Weirdly enough, they still do have some prelims on Fight Pass, although good, I guess. Reason to keep the service, but seemed for a couple months there, they didn't give an absolute shit about it. But very first fight on the card, Sabina Mazo from out of Colombia, but trains here at Kings MMA in Huntington Beach. Gonna fight Shanna Dobson. Think if you guys heard this podcast enough, you know that I'm kind of a Sabina Mazo mark. And Shanna Dobson hasn't fought in over a year, right?
Yeah.
Almost like a year and a half or something. And she lost to Lauren Mueller, who's a decent fighter. I don't know. I never thought much of Shanna Dobson as like UFC caliber. I don't even know if I want to say that about Sabina Mazo because she's so young. I really hope she pulls it off here. And I think she could. Shanna's powerful, but I think Sabina's technical enough to maybe get a decision, maybe even a head kick KO.
I think it's possible because the last fight she had, it was her debut. And like I said, she was young. She's still young. She's only, 22 years old.
Yeah.
So it could have been like UFC jitters. She didn't get knocked out or submitted or anything. She went the distance.
And
Morose,
she fought Morose, and props to her. She fought against type. She decided to use her grappling because she knew this girl's a pretty legit striker. So good on her. She used her UFC veteranship and got the decision. But yeah, I think Sabina's a much better fighter than Dobson. That's just me. We'll see what happens. Who do you got in this one?
The same, Mazo. Feel the same.
Nice. Yeah, this is. I'm working this Saturday, so there's a possibility I might not cash this one. But man, I'm gonna do my goddamn best to be in the arena when the doors open because not when the doors open, but when the main card starts because for every UFC event I've gone to, I've always missed at least the first fight. And given that this is the first fight on the card, I want it to be this one that I actually catch. So it's a bit of a drive away, but I don't want to miss this one at all. Next up on the ESPN portion of the prelims, Rafael Sunsao versus Corey Sandhagen. Sunsao's coming off a loss to Marlon Moraes. Corey Sandhagen is coming off an incredible performance off of the now cut John Lineker. From what I've seen, it looks like Sandhagen's the favorite here. Are you surprised by that?
I'm not.
I think I am.
Really?
I mean, here's the weird thing. I'm picking him to win, but I think a lot of people are discrediting a Sunsao. Like, I think people forget how good he is.
Yeah, but he's been on a bit of a decline, and Sandhagen's coming up. And like you said, he had an impressive performance against Lineker, and he's on this like incredible like winning streak.
You think Sunsao's on the decline? See, I think Moraes is just a bad motherfucker, and he beat him. I think Sunsao's still. I mean, obviously it remains to be seen, but I'm of the opinion that he's still as good as he's ever been. Because Sunsao he's a very smart guy. People have said that he's a boring fighter. I don't think that. I think it's just people who have like no kind of patience. He does everything right. People that I think of Sunsao's a guy, like if you think of Sunsao's boring, you probably thought GSP is boring. Like you're one of those people. But I don't think he's ever taken too much damage in his career. I remember he got knocked out real badly, but I think Eric Koch back in the day. But
Mhm.
Moraes hurt him, but I don't think he's taking too much damage in his career. I think he can do it, but I'm still picking Sandhagen. I like. I really. It's funny because I don't have a. I don't know. You're right. Sandhagen's very promising. He's on the come up. I just don't want to discredit Sun Sao. I think he's a real good fighter, and I would not at all be surprised if he wins. That's what I'm trying to say. Is that I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree he's a good fighter. I just feel like he's up there in age, he's starting to go downhill possibly. And here's this young kid. They're like 10 years apart. He had an awesome performance with Lineker. I mean, that's a fucking tough motherfucker as it is. So, yeah, I mean, my pick is Sandhagen too.
All right,
It's
fair enough.
crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, this one I'm psyched for sure.
Right? It's like, damn, I had no idea. Like, I was so focused on the three fights, the three main ones. I forgot that there's so many good fights on this card.
This is one of these fights that I tend to love too, a Sun Sao and Sandhagen, because it's the young up and comer versus the veteran, and it's one of those fights where I always feel good at the end, because even if it's like a decision and it's kind of back and forth, whoever wins, like if the veteran wins by decision, by knockout, by submission, I'm like, good for you, man, you still got it. And if the youngster wins, I'm like, good for you, you're coming up. So to me, it's kind of like a no-lose situation, at least as a fan. Next up, moving to the main card, Sadiq Youssef fighting Gabriel Benitez. I think you guys know by now, if you've heard any previous episodes, especially regarding Sadiq Youssef, we're big fans of this guy. And he's fighting a Mexican. And I'm not going for the Mexican, but I think if you guys heard this podcast enough, you're probably not surprised by that either.
You never really go for the Mexican.
Basically, Alexa Grasso and Irene Aldana, and even with Grasso, I have my issues. She's one of those frail ones.
So funny. You already know my pick.
Yeah, I think you know mine too. And Benitez hasn't fought in a while, right?
Yeah. Last May is the last time he fought.
I think I missed that fight. I may have to catch a highlight of it because it was like a 40-second slam KO or something.
Yeah, he hasn't fought since then. And then Sadiq has been active. He fought against Shaman in March earlier this year. So I was wondering when he was going to fight again. Because Shaman fought Billy and he got destroyed. He got murked.
That was what, a month ago, right?
Yeah. So he fought before.
Let's be honest. Not to take anything away from Feely in that fight, because we were both super impressed. But he did kind of take an ass whooping in that Youssef fight. I wouldn't be surprised if he probably wasn't ready for that at that time, because that was a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
He didn't get knocked out or nothing, but at least but he did take some damage.
Dude, that was an insane fight.
Yeah, it's very underrated. I know Izzy and Gaslam was amazing. Luque and Barbarina. There's been a lot of great fights this year, but there's some diamonds in the rough. There's some little treasures in there, and I think Youssef and Moraes is one of them. That's a fight that not a lot of people talked about, but was very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Another thing with Benitez, I remember last I heard, I think he was been training at AKA.
Yep.
Is he still training there?
Yeah, I think so.
That's going to be interesting given that DC's in the main event. I'm always interested with that because especially when it's a guy who's so high recognition-wise, rankings-wise, a guy like DC who's basically a pound-for-pound great, and a guy like Benitez who they don't really have an association aside from the gym, but I do wonder when you put two fighters in like that, I wonder what it does. Like, I wonder if that'll help Benitez that he's basically been training alongside DC for this one. Well, most likely anyway.
I can't remember if I heard that he was training alongside DC or not. I've been watching a lot of Nate Diaz and Pettis, like going back and forth, and DC and Steve A. Oh God, Steve A.
What's wrong with Steve A? Well, we're gonna talk about it. But
yeah.
You could say in a second. You talk about it real quick.
Yeah, but just the way he talks, he just annoys me for some reason. I'm like, okay, I gotta pass this. I don't want to hear him talk.
I gotta give props to him, man. He's a mumbler. I still mumble. I'm sure you guys hear it in this podcast too. So I get the struggle, man. We try, folks. We try. Well, I don't know. Actually, well, I'll just say it here because I was watching the UFC Destined earlier, and he brought that up. He was like, "Yeah, we always talk about how I talk, and I should do this. Like, I practiced. I talk slowly. I do like, and I always keep mumbling. So I just said, fuck it. So I was kind of like, well, at least you tried, man.
I don't know. He
But
just seems so dry and like not exciting to listen to. Like it's just weird.
I get.
I couldn't pay attention to him. I'm like, okay, I gotta listen to DC talk now. Like
He
I
just
gotta
has
hear
a
him.
lot of thoughts in his mind. The thing about that is that some people like that, people like that sometimes they come off as dumb, but sometimes it's just that they have a lot of shit on their mind. They don't know how to express it or something.
Yeah, he seems really emotional and like pissed off.
Oh,
Or maybe that's it.
he's fucking pissed. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, so all right, we both got Yusuf in this one. Oh, and for Yusuf too, I believe he's got a new podcast out. I haven't heard it. I've been meaning to, but yeah, I think he's doing a podcast now. I think he's got one episode out, so you guys might want to
Good for
check that
him.
out.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
I'm definitely interested in what he has to say. Moving on to this is not the co-main event, but I don't know. Usually they say main and co-main, and then like yeah, there's only a main event. Nobody really cares about the co-main, but in this case, it feels like there's almost two main events, and the co-main is Yoel Romero and Borrachina. So let's talk about it. I honestly I wish. I don't know. I've kind of had conflicting views on PEDs in the last couple of years, but this is a fight. Like, come on, man. Let's just forget all the rules. I think they should put what was that game in like elementary? Like Bring Home the Bacon, where they put like a piece of like a rock or a fucking a chalkboard eraser. You go in the middle of the field, and whoever gets it first wins or whatever. You should do that, but with steroids in the middle of lockdown. Like, just go. Have 1 minute. You have 1 minute to get it go. You can inject, and then you can start the fight. Just go all out, man.
He said inject. Holy shit. I mean, some people said Yoel looked really bad. I didn't see that when he was doing his media interviews. I didn't see that.
I think he
Did
looks
you?
good for a 68-year-old man.
Right? I thought he looked great. And he was talking to somebody about his weight because somebody asked him about you had like weight issues before and this and that. You never missed, or you did miss weight in Chicago or some shit. And he's like, no, I never missed weight. I never had any weight issues.
Ooh, Romero?
Yeah.
Yeah, he missed weight. What are you talking about?
I'm like, you're speaking English. I can understand you. You understood the question. What the hell are you talking about, Yoel?
He said this in English?
Yeah, he's speaking it. No translator. He had no translator at the time. He's cracking me up though. I love his fucking accent. He's just being a character. He's like, what are you talking about? No, I never miss weight. I never have issues with my weight. Like,
good for him, I guess. He's making light of it. At least I hope he is. Maybe it's a lost in chapter. But
yeah, maybe.
This is one. I don't have the greatest seats for this event. This is one of those fights that I kind of wish I was cage side. I've been cage side at fights, more for the regional stuff, events that I've covered. I've never been cage side to like an actual UFC event. But this fight just sounds terrifying because if you guys have ever been to cage side in a fight, if you haven't, I'll tell you, it's pretty eerie how loud it is. And obviously, yeah, there's a factor of the crowd, but how loud the punches sound, the kicks, especially the kicks, and then the slams. Even like your standard double leg, single leg, some of these guys fucking really slam them down, man. It's not like they're just tripping them. Like, they're really putting their weight and driving them down to the mat. And even that sounds scary. And this is one of those fights where you just want to see and hear all of it up close.
I don't know what to say anymore about this because, damn, dude.
I mean, I think Romero all the way. I know people would love this fight. This fight reminds me so much of Brock Lesnar and Alistair Overeem. It was just like, you know what this is for. This is all the spectacle, But looking at the records, looking at the names, yeah, Romero, I think by 3, 4, or 5 fucking miles has Costa beat. I mean, Costa's biggest name has been Uriah Hall and or Johnny Hendricks, and even the Uriah Hall fight, that was his last. Well, they both fought a year ago, but I
Yeah.
think that's better for Yoel because of his age. I think it behooves him to take some time between fights. Whereas Costa, well, I know that they both pulled out, right? Because it's been scheduled like 3 times. It was one of
Yes.
those Khabib things, right? Khabib
Yep.
pulled out once, Tony pulled out. It's that whole deal again, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, 42 years old, 28 years old. Like, well,
Costa's,
he's a Cuban, 42 years old. So, but
I
then
said, I
again,
told
he's
you
been
that
wrestling.
that means he's 68.
Cubans are built different though. But again, all that wrestling he's done over the years. Yeah, I mean, my pick is Romero, but who knows, man?
Yeah, if
Uh,
Costa obliterates him, I mean, I'll be surprised, but it's not gonna be like some upset.
yeah,
It'll be shocking, but it won't be quote unquote upsetting.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Costa's 28, dude.
damn, he's younger than me. That son of a bitch. Not bad enough. You look how you do. You got to be younger than me too. God, that's how I know I'm getting old. I'm starting to get mad at younger people for no reason. Fucking
What the hell, hater?
yeah, fuck yeah. I am a hater. Speaking of haters, Nate Diaz is fighting. Dude, Nate Diaz, I said this on the Just Bleed podcast. Nate Diaz, he should just. I know he doesn't really have a nickname. He should just have his nickname be Silky Johnston, man. He's one of the biggest fucking haters I've seen in my life, man. But
That's
he's
just
all the
funny.
better for it. He's awesome. I love him and all his haterade.
That's so
But
funny.
hating on a guy because he's on a cereal box, come on, man.
You know that he said that that was actually blown out of proportion.
Yeah, I heard that, but it's like, dude, you said it. Like they didn't
Yeah,
edit that out. Like you said it.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, I don't think it was blown out of proportion. I think
He said
people
it
like
to like
me,
sell the fight.
yeah, and I think people like me, I think they had a similar reaction. It was like they found it funny. Like, dude,
Yeah,
really? Like, Wheaties? That's your big. But it's like, come on, we know Nate. He hates on everybody for fucking anything. Nate
yeah,
is one of these guys that like. I think he says that like everybody, oh, the UFC's never done nothing for me. They promote all these other guys. Like, I've been doing much more than all these guys. I think he'll feel that way even if it's a guy like Clay Guida or something, like a guy who's been in the game as long as him. Like, man, the UFC did everything for you. Like, man, motherfucker, I've been doing this longer than you, and you still think the UFC's fucking doing me a favor and shit. Come on, man.
that's funny. Dana did say that he likes him. He's a good guy. I was surprised to hear that.
I,
Really?
I'm not. I'm not, because you gotta remember. I mean, people. The question's still out as to whether Nate's a star or not. I guess after Saturday we'll see. And knock on wood that this fight actually happens. And yes, I literally did have to knock on wood because it's been so many times that Nate Diaz is supposed to make it, and there's still 48 hours for shit to go down.
Well, I think he is, and I think
You gotta
Pettis and
remember.
Diaz, they're actually carrying this card. It seems like, because if you look at like the countdown, they
Yeah.
have the one with DC and Stipe released separately, and then they have the Pettis and Diaz one. The Pettis
Well,
and Diaz one has like over 1 million views, and then the Stipe and DC one only has about like 600,000. And that's just those videos. There's other videos where it's trending like more than the main event. So there's a lot of interest with this fight, and yeah, they're doing whatever they need to do to like sell this card bigger than it is.
yeah, with the countdowns, they always do this. Yeah, they separate them into 2 or 3 parts depending on the fight. So they do always do that, but I know I hadn't seen those numbers. I'm not surprised. I'm
Yeah.
not surprised, but yeah, I
There's
mean,
a lot more people are talking about this fight. It's like the main event.
yeah, that's what I said earlier, and Just Bleed asked me about that yesterday too. It's like, why do you think people are so interested in Nate? And it's just, I mean, I think right now more than anything, it's been a long fucking time since he's fought, and last we remember him is that awesome fight with Conor. So I think that image is still in our mind, and then obviously the one before that was him beating Conor. So
Yeah.
those were awesome fights. So I think he just has a lot of that steam still,
Yeah.
and we're not exactly worried about him looking rusty, because he's always training, so it's not like, oh, he's coming in fat, out of shape. Like, we know he's always training. We don't have that worry with him. And then Showtime's coming off of that spectacular KO of Wonder Boy. So I mean, all right, I got Showtime here. I think it's the easy pick. I mean, the kicks, the submissions. I don't think they're gonna be such a factor because obviously I think Nate's a better jiu-jitsu player, but I think he can maybe neutralize him there. But I think the kicks are going to be a problem, as they always are with any Diaz brother fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to pick Diaz just because NorCal. But yeah, I think
Go with the
Pettis
Mexican.
win. What?
Somebody has to do it, right? Go with the Mexican.
You're funny. Yep.
Gotta go with Nathan Donald Diaz. Yes, that is his middle name. Not a lot of people know that.
Yeah, I mean, I know Pettis will probably win this one, but hey, man, I gotta go with Diaz. So I'm excited that it's finally happening because what did we say? Just wait, right? Who knows what's gonna happen? Nate might pull out. You just never know with the Diaz brothers. So
yeah, obviously as of right now, this fight hasn't happened yet. But no, I'm not even being funny here. But it hasn't happened yet. But the fight that was supposed to happen before this for Nate anyway was supposed to be Poirier at MSG last year. And there was the whole thing. It was supposed to be the main event, and then that was bullshit. And then Poirier pulled out. When that fight got announced, and then when this fight got announced, especially now that we're close to it, what do you think? What's getting you excited more? Or what got you more excited? Or what do you think could be the better fight? Because obviously with Poirier, it's like, all right, he was going back down to 155. It was a contender fight. And Poirier is obviously very exciting too. But this is at 170. This is a pure action fight. This is just for fun, and it is kind of a grudge match.
yeah.
So what do you think of, given that this is the last two fights that Diaz has had signed to him? Do you think this one is more exciting than, at least the build up to this one has been more exciting than what Poirier was?
Yes, this is more exciting. I like this fight better. Just hearing Duke Rufus's excitement level regarding how Pettis is performing, how he's feeling, and then just the whole backstory of it all too. Because I guess it was like his brother Nick fighting with one of like Pettis's friends or something that started this whole issue, and that's when I guess Pettis fought Melendez in Mexico or something. So that whole shit started this, and then Nate with his shit talking about the whole Wheaties dude, and I'm gonna fight the Wheaties dude, and this and that, like sparked all this, and then ignited another like flame under Anthony Pettis, which is awesome because he was going downhill until he moved up. We weren't sure what was going to happen with the Wonder Boy fight, and then he had that Superman punch KO. I mean, it turned around. Who knows what's going to happen after this? I mean, if Nate wins, then is he going to be a ranked fighter?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think he is a ranked fighter right now. But then again, Luque or Perry weren't ranked fighters last week, so who the fuck knows, man? I'm really not even paying attention anymore. But that's a really good question. I was thinking this as you were talking right now is what happens here? Because with Nate, it's easy. I mean, Conor's the easiest and the thing that everyone's gonna go to.
Right.
And I guess you could say, oh, well, maybe Pettis will want to fight Conor too, but that doesn't have the same ring to it. Because if it's not Conor, then who? I mean, actually, you know what would be good, but I don't know. I don't think he'll go for it. Is Masvidal.
Dude, I was thinking that earlier too. I was like, fuck, if they fought each other, that would be so crazy. Oh my god, I would have to go to it. I don't care where it's at. I will have to go to that fight. That one, I will have to go. But yeah, like Nate was saying, like all he cares about is the money fight. He doesn't care, even if he wins this fight, yeah, he would probably be along the line of getting that title shot or whatever, but he doesn't want that. He doesn't care about the belt.
Didn't he say, he said, I don't care about Khabib or Poirier, right?
Yeah, like he doesn't care about the belt. He just wants money fights. That's it. He wants exciting matchups. That's it. So that would be one to definitely go after. Because who knows when Conor's going to come back, I guess Conor or Pettis was offered the Conor fight too before the Diaz fight. Yeah,
but Pettis has always been, and I'm not saying this to sound like Dana, but it does seem like it's a two-way street kind of that. It seems like Pettis has been difficult at times. Maybe justifiably so, or maybe not. But, like we were saying that it's surprising that Dana's cool with Diaz. I'm not surprised because he made him a lot of money, and I don't think he can say the same thing about Pettis.
So yeah, all these everybody wants the Conor fight, but yeah, who knows when he's gonna come back? I wonder if he'll even be a draw because of all the shit that's been going on outside of the cage. But whatever.
I don't want to talk about that. So what do you think about if Showtime wins of Showtime and Masvidal? Do you think he'd go for it?
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Because
About that one. God, I don't know.
Masvidal hits me as the same way. I was like, yeah, he wants a title shot, but to me, if you gave him title shot or money, I think he's gonna go with money, and I think that's a money fight there too.
He would have to probably finish Diaz
And that's
like he
a,
did with Wonder Boy at some kind of spectacular finish
yeah,
to get him
that,
excited.
yeah, probably, yeah, because I think Masvidal too. If the money's right and they put him on a good card, I honestly think he doesn't even care. Like, oh, I'm gonna lose my contendership. I might not fight for the title. If you put money in that dude's pocket, I don't think he cares. I think he wants to be champion just to say it, just because that is a goal of his. But he wants the money more than anything.
Right, and I think that's why he doesn't want the Leon Edwards fight because not a lot of people know Edwards.
There's definitely a story there, but yeah, I mean, if he keeps talking how he's talking, obviously there's only so much he can do. But I think, yeah, you're right. If Pettis gets a super impressive finish, he might be into it. So I think, yeah, winner of this fight, especially if it's exciting, Masvidal would be a great fight because he wants money. Don't let the belt shit talk. He's doing that as a ploy. He wants money.
Oh yeah, man, he got to put his kids to school, right?
Same.
So
I thought that Miami Coke money would have fucking took care of that, but I'm kidding. Masvidal's a good guy. I might meet him on Saturday too. If I get there early. I wish he's supposed to be at one of the booths, so he might hear this and fuck me up one day. But I'll make sure. Nobody tag him. Don't tag the fighters.
That shit's funny. Cuban Jesus.
All right, so you got Diaz, I got Pettis. All right, main event time. Last fight. DC Stipe rematch. So we talked a little bit about it, and just to go on from that, yeah, some of the stuff you're saying about Stipe, he does look very pissed. He's one of those like calm guys. Like he gets kind of quiet when he gets angry. He's not these loud, brash type.
Yep.
And I think he is very pissed. And to be fair to him, DC has said kind of some rude comments. I get him. I don't think he's overreacting. But I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen Stipe fight pissed.
Rude about what? About how Stipe waited all this time?
I think that's part of it. But what I heard him say specifically was that I'm better than you. That like no matter what you do, you can't beat me type thing.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, and again, I don't think DC crossed the line or anything. But obviously, I understand why Stipe would be upset by that.
Oh man. I already have DC picked.
Yeah, me too. And I actually like Stipe a lot. I was one of these guys that, and I still think whether he wins this fight or not, I think the UFC is up there with Amanda Nunes of them not promoting him. Yes, I understand he mumbles and garbles a lot and he can't talk worth of shit. Yes, I understand that. But Fedor has never learned the fucking word of English in his life, and he was a star. Yeah, granted, he's never been in the UFC, but most people know who Fedor is. So I think they could have put Stipe in a similar light. I mean, dude's a fucking hero. Dude's a firefighter. Still a firefighter to this day, even when he was champion. Knocked out Verdum, knocked out Overeem, knocked out JDS, beat the shit out of Zingano. Like, I think this fight's going to be a lot more competitive than the first one, and I think this probably goes to the decision. I just don't know if it's going to be a clear-cut decision for DC or if it's going to be like DC versus Gustafsson type fight.
Huh. They're both looking for the knockout.
And Stipe is very... People sleep on Stipe's power, man, because he's not a brutal puncher like Ngannou. He doesn't knock you dead. Compare Ngannou's knockout of Overeem to like Stipe's knockout of JDS. It's like, huh? What? But it's the way that his foot placement, the positioning of his body, his mechanics are very, he does it very well. And that's why he lands these perfect shots. Even if they don't look like much, they put you out. So I mean, he can definitely knock DC out, but I think DC is just gonna come at him hard. I think it'll be the deciding factor, but I think it's gonna be harder to take out Stipe this time. He's not going down without a fight.
Yeah, it sounds like everybody's going for DC. They already have DC picked as the winner. I mean, if he does win, what should he do next? Should he just ride off into the sunset and just have this like storybook, like, finish his career, or should he go after John Jones again?
That's another reason, as you were saying, that what I was about to say is that I think another reason of why so many people are picking DC. I'm picking DC just because more than anything, he's undefeated at heavyweight, and I think it's for a reason. I think this is where he's obviously a great fighter, one of the best ever, and he's good at this weight class for a reason. I mean, frankly, I just don't think he's a guy who's cut out to cut so much weight. He wants to fight comfortably, and this is obviously a better weight class for him. And I think that's another reason why people are picking DC, because it's like he did it once, he can do it again, and they're kind of writing Stipe off already. It's like, well, this is his time, this is his moment. But Stipe can do it. Stipe can do it. But as far as DC, yeah, I'd retire if I was him. I mean, he said that he was gonna retire on his birthday and stuff, and not that he needs to stick to that, especially if they're offering him money and stuff. But yeah, I mean, this is gonna sound like a cop out, especially that I don't like Jones and stuff. But honestly, John Jones just brings nothing but heartache. John Jones is the kind of guy. Obviously, they still don't like each other. John Jones strikes me as the kind of guy that would do some shady shit, either to beat Stipe or to get in his head. Like, I think it's gonna cause so much problems for him. Like, what? Not even like the whole do you ride off in the sunset and do you really want to go out on a loss like that? Maybe get knocked out by John Jones again. I don't think he cares about any of that. But just for me, thinking about it rationally, like, dude, this guy's fucking shady. He's gonna pull some other shit. Do you really want him pulling out at the last second again? More failed drug tests, more problems with the law, more belt like, come on, it's always come with something bad. Why bother? I want to see it, don't get me wrong, but if I was DC, if I was in his shoes, if I was his manager, if I was his family members or friends, I'd be like, dude, just quit while you're ahead. Yeah, you could say that that's always gonna loom over you, but it's like, dude, the first fight, okay, yeah, you lost. Everybody loses. You didn't retire undefeated or nothing. But the second fight, say what you want about it, knockout or whatever, he tested positive for that fight. Whether it was cocaine that was tainted or creatine or dick pills or he just straight up took steroids, at the end of the day, he tested positive, and that fight doesn't count. Maybe in 5-10 years, Dana's going to want to change that too, just like he does the illegal elbow, but we can't do anything about that for now. That doesn't count on DC's record, so don't hold it against yourself too much is what I'd tell him.
Yeah, I'd want him to just retire and not even go after John Jones, because John Jones, he's not going to move up to heavyweight. He wants it at 205 anyways.
Not it sounds like
not for DC. Exactly, right? He fights Stipe though. So yeah, shady shit. And then DC being DC, it's like he wants that back. He wants to do it at 205, and that's something that I don't want him going through, with the weight cut and whatnot. So
yeah, just for his health, not even like the actual fight. Just like, why put yourself through that again? Not at this age, not at this time.
Right? So no, and he looks great right now, and he's cutting a little, right? So nah, man, just ride off into the sunset, man. I mean, he doesn't even have to do this, really. He has that job with the ESPN, ESPN desk. He's training the kids at Gilroy High School, and he's doing all kinds of other stuff. So,
AKA, he still got head coach at AKA, the wrestling coach at AKA.
Yeah.
And then come on, I mean, Deron Wynn, Brianna Van Buren. I know, Kane's done and Rockhold's gone, but Justin Wynn and Van Buren, I really think they're the next stars. If they're not stars, they're definitely contenders. So,
right.
It's not like you don't have promising pupils.
Yeah. So, yeah, just like you said, it's like nothing but bad news, heartache with John Jones. Just why go through that, man?
Don't let this dude take out anything more from you. Mm-hmm. He's fucked up. He's fucked with his head so much, and for what? Yeah, of course he didn't win, but it's like, come on, dude. Like, even had he won, like, That's a lot of bullshit, dude.
Right? And when he was going to fight him or when he fought him, like there was a lot of hate against DC. Now everybody loves him.
It's weird, right? Fucking people are
Yeah.
so fickle, man.
Right. So like why even bother with all that hate too? You know? Uh,
Yeah.
he's so likable, especially with this, E60 story that came out. The
Yeah.
story about his daughter, I'm like, oh my god, I'm about to tear up right now. Yeah, all that, like,
It's weird that not a lot of people know about that. I mean, and what's weird about it is that he doesn't talk about it too much, and I mean, obviously it's horrendous. But this is the reason of why DC is one of my favorite fighters, and is honestly a role model to me. Anytime he talks about it, I mean, most people in those situations cry, and for good reason. I've never seen him cry once about it, and like, dude, he's just like, I don't know if you could ever make peace or something like that, but it seems like he just kind of accepted it, and it's like, dude, he says it all the time, like I fight for her every day, even if she's not here, like she's an inspiration. Like, Jesus Christ, man, like there are very, very, very few human beings in this world that can have that kind of outlook. And then the thing about his dad getting killed, I know it wasn't much in his family, but his like is what I said. Someone tweeted something about that, and I'm like, dude, by all measures, if you were to see this guy on paper, most people would look at him like, oh yeah, he turned out to be a criminal. He turned out to be, he was in jail for fucking 20 years. And most people with his background, they don't make it. But he's become one of the best athletes and one of the best fighters that mixed martial arts has ever seen.
yeah, he's an amazing story. Like, I knew about that story, regarding his daughter, but just him talking about it and like the pictures, I'm like, oh my god, I was like crying. And
I,
it
I
was only a short clip. Like, I can't see the whole thing. It was a short clip that I watched.
I didn't know about the thing about I didn't think he was in the car, but I didn't know the whole thing that the girlfriend was in a different car and that she was her idea to put and that she was the only fatality. Like, Jesus Christ, man, that's oof. Oh, that is horrendous. But what a man. What an amazing human being to come out of that. And if you could ever take anything positive away from it, I mean, it seems like he's done the best he could with it.
Yeah.
What a great
So
dude.
it's like no wonder he was so angry with John Jones.
Oh yeah, drunk driving and fucking hitting a pregnant woman. Fuck yeah, fuck that dude, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Like he didn't talk about it, nobody knew about it, but like no wonder. Do you guys now get it? Like he gave him such a hard time because he had some, things that happened in the past.
And
So
never brought it up. It wasn't like, fuck this guy. I know what it's like to have a reckless driver and shit like that. Because well, from what he said, it wasn't even a drunk driver that hit the car. It was just a semi, just a dude not paying attention. But when you're acting like an asshole like John is, like, Jesus Christ, man, yeah, he has every right to hate him. As I've heard an old podcast, I forget which one it was. They talked about the whole feud, and they said John Jones and DC will be like Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali of this generation. When they asked Joe Frazier about Muhammad Ali when he lit the flames at the Olympic Games years back, they asked him about it, and Joe Frazier said about Ali, I wish that motherfucker would have fell in the flames. And that's like what DC strikes me as, and John Jones too. Like, fuck that guy. I'm never gonna like him,
Yeah.
But that's a lot of depression for one quick minute. So yeah, that does it for 241. As I said, I'm gonna be keeping up with this, so stay up on social media. But let's get into some new stuff. Let's get into the headlines. And looks like we're just gonna keep going with more depression, at least for me, because it was announced yesterday that Cat Zingano, one of my favorite fighters ever, has been cut. It seems like a lot of people weren't surprised because of her recent record, even though her last fight was a loss due to a toe in the eye. Honestly, I'm just heartbroken, man. I'm even at a loss for words. It sounds so fucking cheesy and lame, but I really do love Kat for more than just her fighting. She's just much like DC. She's also kind of a hero of mine, and this is the first fighter that I've ever been a fan of in my 10 years of watching MMA that has been cut from the UFC. There's been guys who retired. There's been guys who, like Carlos Condit. He's had like 4 or 5 losses in a row, and he's still in the UFC. Max Holloway had a losing streak for a bit, and there's a lot of guys who just retire. They're not what they are, and it's cool. But I've never had a fighter that I love be cut, and it's like this is weird. I know there's different. It seems like it was a mutual thing, but it still hurts, man.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, it's not that serious, but it's like, yeah. When I saw this, I was fucking pissed. I was like, come on, dude, really?
A lot of people were. I
Yeah, and
saw that on Twitter.
I was happy to see that, man. Because let's be honest, a lot of dudes like Kat because she's hot, and I get it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm in that crowd too. But that's not the only reason I like her. And it was refreshing to see that it wasn't these people of just like, oh come on, why you cut the hot girl type thing. You know, it's like they actually love her as a fighter and as a human. And yeah, I told you this off air, Reen. I told you this yesterday when I read the news. Like I was pissed, but I'm not a guy like. There's a lot of celebrities I'm fond of, musicians, but I don't think I could freak out and meet some of these people, and I don't think I'd make a big deal out of it. But there's something about Kat Zingano. Like I think if I ever met her, I'd be hysterical. I'd be like
Huh.
fucking the girls seeing the Beatles back in the day. Like I'd fucking cry, man. I love
That
that girl
girl.
so much. Yeah, legit.
Yeah, it sucks that she got cut. But whatever she's doing, whatever project she's working on, hopefully that comes to fruition and we get to see it. She gets to share it with us. And then whatever health problems she's going through, she can get through that. And hopefully she can make it back to the UFC. Because, yeah, like I said, it sounded like it was mutual.
I've said this a few times on here, and I know I've told you, Reen, a lot about this one, but if you guys haven't seen it, watch. It was on Audience. It was called Religion of Sports, Alpha and Omega. It was about Kat's fighting career, not so much her life entirely, but her fighting career. And yeah, it goes into gruesome detail about a lot of terrible shit that happened in her life, including her husband's suicide and the injury and all this shit. And I don't know how you can see that and not love her after you watch it. And I loved her even before I watched it, but it was so emotional seeing that shit. And to this day, her fight against Amanda Nunes is one of the most powerful things I've ever seen in my life. And when you watch that documentary, you hear her talk about that fight, and it really gets you in the heart, man. It really puts you in her shoes of some of the shit that she was going through. But yeah, I hope, much like you were saying, I hope this is for the best, at least for her in her personal life, for her kid and whatever she's got planned. I don't know if they're just gonna sign her back up. Maybe it's a mutual thing, like, hey, once you figure it out, we'll sign you on again, or maybe she goes to a different promotion. If she goes to a different one, I don't know. I don't really want to see her in Invicta because I just don't think it's a good fit for her. I'd like to see her in like Bellator, but they don't really have 135, so maybe she might have to move up. Who knows? Maybe she fights Cyborg. I don't know if she goes to one. I know she likes to go into Thailand and shit, so I don't know. Maybe one's a thing. We'll see. Ryzen, I don't know, but I just hope the best for her. Next up, just a little bit of news. There's not a lot of rhyme or reason to it. I haven't read much, but the San Francisco card that was supposed to be headlined by Michelle Waterson and Joanna Jędrzejczyk has been moved to Tampa. All I've heard is that they want to hold out for a big event, and I don't know if that's the venue or the UFC talking, but it sucks, man. It sucks that the Bay Area. I think Just Bleed tweeted this that it's been like 10 years since the Bay Area has had an event, and Sacramento gets a lot of them, as you know, Reen. Sacramento, San Jose gets a lot of them, but Oakland and San Francisco don't seem to get much, even though they're one of the most popular cities in the world, in America.
It's crazy, man. Even Fresno, of all places.
Yeah, Fresno's coming. I think Fresno's also one of those places that is they're starting to. I don't know if they're either gentrifying or they're just getting more people in there. But yeah, there's been some Kobate cards, UFC cards. I think Bellator cards. Yeah, they're definitely coming up. But it is weird that San Francisco. It's like, yeah, we don't go there for some reason.
It's so crazy, man. Maybe I don't know if it's just too expensive or what. It's hard to get around there, with logistics or whatnot. Because if they did have people staying near the Chase Center, like it probably will be expensive to have all their fighters and the team and whatever. Yeah, it's probably going to be a pretty big bill. So maybe it's just a combination of things. I mean, even with the Sacramento card, like that pissed me off hearing like Bisping staying at the Rancho Cordova Marriott. Like that's a piece of shit hotel, and you have to drive like 30 to 45 minutes. And he did complain about it. He was just like, yeah, it looked like the fucking like Shining hotel from the Shining movie.
I have not heard you listen to Bisping's podcast a lot, huh?
Yeah, he's pretty funny.
I've never listened to it, and I like Bisping. I probably should do that.
Yeah, so he's talking shit about it, and I'm like, what the fuck? Why are you staying all the way out in Rancho Cordova? Driving all the way out when there's hotels in downtown Sacramento. Oh yeah, near the Golden One Center. It's like, I don't get it. Why are they fucking like being so cheap with it? So yeah, it sucks that we don't get to see this, because I would have loved to go to this one.
I hope that hopefully it happens soon, and if it does happen, I hope it is a big pay-per-view. I hope it's well, I know the big pay-per-views are still reserved for Vegas, so International Fight Week, Memorial Day, New Year's, whatever. I know those are usually reserved for Vegas, but yeah, if they have a big card, whatever month it is, I hope it goes here. Much like this weekend, 241, we're in August. There's usually not a big August card, but every once in a while they go all out, as we're seeing this weekend. So I hope it's a similar card, similar caliber, if and when they go back, and hopefully it's soon, because you guys deserve it. I know it's not exactly your town, Rain, but I get it, man. I've been to San Francisco. You tell me you go a lot. Obviously, you go a lot more than me since you're nearby, and it is a beautiful city. Shit on the sidewalks or not, it is a beautiful city. So
I love the Bay, man.
I will say, as twice being in San Francisco, I have not seen shit on the sidewalks, but I did go to Berkeley and did see a dude OD in the park. So there is that. So.
Oh, it's Berkeley.
Yeah, Berkeley is fucking nuts. Don't go there, people. Especially if you have kids. Do not go with children. Do not go with children.
But, you see, Berkeley's kind of cool. That strip. There's just long like pathway. You can see the school. Oh. There's like cool restaurants and like places to hang out, and you probably see like hippies on the side of the road or whatever, on the sidewalk chilling, smoking weed or something.
Yeah, weed fucking everywhere, man. Yeah. And I'm saying this to someone in Southern California. There's fucking weed shops everywhere, but right there, it's like, yeah. Even the cops look like they don't give a fuck, man. It's a weird vibe. But anyway, moving on to more news. Bigfoot. Yeah, the one guy that we thought was gone, Antonio Silva, Bigfoot, he's gonna start fighting in bare knuckle fighting championship. Chase Sherman just won the heavyweight title this past weekend apparently. So I guess they're all in with the heavyweights and stuff. And with the way that things go for Bigfoot, I wouldn't be surprised if that's his first fight against Chase Sherman, who, I mean, isn't much of a great fighter, but at least has age on him, and it's just all bad, man. If you guys haven't seen the Rico Verhoeven fight, don't watch it because it's goddamn depressing. But I mean, if you want to know what to expect, watch it, and that's exactly what you're gonna expect. That's exactly what's gonna happen.
That's who he fought. I was like, I thought he went to Ryzen or something. Fuck, he went to Glory. That's right.
Yeah, and he fought Rico Verhoeven, and I think it was I don't know if it wasn't his only kickboxing fight. It was one of like a handful of kickboxing fights he's ever had.
I think so. Jesus.
Take on one of the best heavyweight kickboxers of this generation.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to watch this. A bare knuckle with Bigfoot?
Well, at least you could say he's got big fucking hands, so maybe this works to his advantage, but also he's going to be getting hit. And then I don't know if you saw that video of this dude who fucking face planted this weekend. Did you see this?
I saw the highlight, yeah.
The black dude that got knocked the fuck out by that big white dude. Yeah.
Dude, that's,
I don't know who they were, but I was like, that's easily the most brutal knockout in bare knuckle history, at least that I've seen.
Dude, I wonder, do they announce when he's fighting, or it's just...
Not that I saw. I think they said that maybe in November, but I don't think they have an opponent yet.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. I might watch the train wreck. I don't want to, but I'm interested.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. It's like, should I watch this car accident?
Yeah, I can't say I blame you, but, because I have some sensibilities like that. But, yeah, I don't know. Bigfoot, it's sad. We're going to talk about someone else later on who's shouldn't be fighting. I don't know. I guess the Brazilians do this shit. It's been happening lately. But next story. Aspen Ladd has had her license pulled for fighting at 135 from the CSAC, from the California State Athletic Commission. Big reason was because in her fight against Jermaine Durandamy, they weighed her in on fight day, and she weighed 159 pounds. Keep in mind, this girl fights at bantamweight, 135. So in 24 hours, she regained 24 pounds. And I think this is a good decision. She's scheduled to fight Yana. We said that last week. Scheduled to fight Yana, and I want to say D.C., Washington, D.C. So obviously this wouldn't be under the California's jurisdiction, but most commissions choose to honor the word of other commissions, especially somewhere like California. How do you think this is going to work out for her, Rain?
I mean, she's at the Performance Institute, so hopefully they're helping her figure this all out. That's crazy that, God, 24 pounds overnight, she regained all that. It's like, no wonder. She had a really bad cut. No wonder. It wasn't nerves. She wasn't shaking because of nerves. No, she's like fucking half dead on that fucking weight scale. That's insane, man. It's not healthy at all. So I'm glad that they're actually taking action with this. Because I was wondering if she was going to get pulled from that fight. I'm surprised they even let it happen. It's better late than never.
Yeah. Yeah, keep in mind that just because she gained 24 pounds in 24 hours, that doesn't mean that she walks around at that. People still walk around heavier, sometimes 5 or 10 pounds more. So she could feasibly be walking around at 170 when she's not training.
That's so insane, man. Like,
so probably cutting up to 30, 35 pounds for a young girl. And granted, she's not that big. Yes, obviously the weight, she's heavy, but she's not a big girl. She's not fucking, look at a girl like, even like Megan Anderson. I know she cuts a lot of weight, you can tell, but shit, like, I don't even think she cuts that much.
Yeah, like you can tell with Aspen's face, like, I don't know if you want to call it baby fat or what, but like there's some fat there that she can lose, right? There's some weight there that she can lose. Her arms, her legs. Yeah, there's something that you can do, or you need to move up. I'm 145. If you want to keep that frame, if you want to keep that power, you need to go up because it's not healthy. You're only 24.
Yeah.
Why do this to yourself? And you've had weight cutting issues before, and you're getting older. Yeah. Not getting younger. You can't go backwards, girl. Like, you've been having issues. It's just gonna get harder. So,
I do wish the best for her, and I hope the PI and either her people, the UFC, whoever is helping her out, I hope they become transparent about this too to help other people, because I desperately want to know what her deal is. It could be too much weight from exercising. It could be too much weight of bad dieting. I don't know, but whatever it is, it's clearly not working out for her, and they should address it.
Yeah, thyroid issues, whatever.
True. Just there may be a medical thing. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
Hormones.
Check everything. Yeah, check everything. I don't know if she's taking birth control or what. Maybe change that up because you can gain weight from that. So just whatever they are doing, hopefully they find a solution for her because it's not worth it.
Yep.
She's very young, and she has a future ahead of her, right, in the sport. So that just, like, when I heard that, I was like, good.
Yeah,
at least somebody's taking action. Yeah, seriously, because like we were off air talking about it. I'm like, is this a form of cheating? Is it worth it?
And I started thinking about it. I was about to tell you that's a little too much, but the more you think about it, like, it kind of does make sense, because if you want to take it the whole way, you could say something like steroids. It's like, well, if steroids make you bigger and stronger, generally speaking, that's a positive. So you would think, but that also comes with blowback. Obviously, it can fuck up your heart and you can have health issues, but also usually when you're big and strong, it doesn't mean that you have the most cardio and stuff. And it's almost the exact same thing with weight cutting. Yeah, you're bigger and stronger, but you usually can't last three or 5 rounds. So it's very similar in a way. Obviously, there's nuance here, but I thought that was a really good point because there's an argument to be made.
Yeah. So now, shine a light on this issue. hopefully people will fight at a healthy weight, because I don't want to see anybody dying. I don't want to see anybody like shaking and not being able to hydrate as soon as they get off that scale. Like that was insane. So
Yeah,
hopefully they take care of her and figure it out.
true, true. Another news story, and we're gonna talk about this quickly because, like Jorge Masvidal says, I don't want to give any of these sluts too much attention. But Conor McGregor punched some old dude because he said "fuck you" to his whiskey. Well, that's to be implied anyway, because we can't hear much. And yeah, I guess this is an incident that took place in April. I really don't know much more to say about it aside from just quit being a bitch, Connor. Like, come on, dude. Like, you can't tell from the video. See, I gotta assume he was drunk. I hope he's drunk. 'Cause if you do that shit sober, get mad just because some dude didn't want to try your whiskey, some old man. Get the fuck over yourself, man.
Yeah, I don't get his antics. He's like another one. Like, what are you doing out? What are you doing? Don't you have a kid?
He has kids now. Yeah, I think doesn't he have another one? I think
Did
D
he?
had another one if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So they have another one, and then he got like other ones too, right? From other chicks.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I mean, the fuck are you doing, man? I can't clearly see if it was a punch or like a drink thrown at him, whatever. I mean, I keep seeing things on Twitter, so whatever. Regardless, the fuck are you doing?
The
I
fucking
mean,
ego on this man, dude.
right? It's like one thing after another. When are we gonna see you back in the cage? Probably never, because
I
you
could,
still got that rape case, allegedly.
yeah. I just couldn't believe that Dana White of all people was the voice of reason. I mean, he said what a lot of people were thinking. It just I didn't expect it to come from his mouth. Of this always happens with guys with money, and at what time are you gonna wake up and be like, can I even afford this anymore? Of paying judges off, paying people off, posting bail, all the stupid shit he's doing. And like I know he's not lying. Like talked about the 223 incident, the dollies and the bus attack and all like, that cost him millions of dollars. I know it did, especially and then you got to think about how much quicker he would have been fighting had that not happened. And yeah, man, he's just a fucking idiot. And it's just I mean, and then there was the whole thing with the phone, like that was we didn't even really talk about it when that happened, I think, but it was just like, come on, dude, like obviously they're gonna sue you. But why do you to me, like I'm not one that like I don't think I'm a tight ass or anything like that, but if I had money, I'd want to keep it, man. Yeah, of course I'm gonna spend my money on stupid shit, which is a big reason of why I can't have a lot of money because I'm kind of a degenerate. But I'm not going to be throwing my money away on cops and judges and bail, and I'm not giving more of my money to the government. Fuck you, man. Fuck that shit. They're already going to be taxing you up the ass, and they're going to give more to the cops and to the judges, and go fuck yourself.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. Yeah, we're talking about this off air. What did I say? I said, yeah, he's gonna one day meet a real motherfucker and probably get his ass beat or even
Yeah,
killed.
yeah, and yeah. I mean, Ireland, don't is a big reason of why I sometimes defend white people. It's not a thing of like, oh, they're good people and just don't be mean to them. There's a big cultural thing, and white people in America are not white people abroad for many different reasons. But Irish people tend to be pretty fucking hard, man. They may not be Russian style like that, but yeah, dude, those motherfuckers are down to fight. And even an old man, you don't know that motherfucker could be, former IRA, Irish mob. They can have some fucking connections too, man. So you really need to watch out. Mind your P's and Q's. Don't do stupid shit.
I'm just shaking my head. It's like, why does he always have to like just show up when we're having a good time? We have this huge fight coming up. Like somehow he just here it is. Conor McGregor fucking up again.
Well, at least this wasn't recent. I mean, relatively speaking, it just came out this week,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, don't worry. This was big news today. I don't think it'll be big news by tomorrow or definitely Saturday because some good ass fights happening.
I wonder if he's gonna tweet something.
Probably not. Well, I don't know. It depends on what Diaz says, because Nate Diaz is kind of like, where's that dude? Like, I already beat him twice and all that shit, but I have a hard time believing that if he wins, he's not gonna say some shit. Last bit of headline news: Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz. I was forgetting his first name. Andy Ruiz. The rematch is scheduled to happen December 7th in Saudi Arabia, of all places. I understand why. There's obviously a lot of money in Saudi Arabia, and I'm assuming these guys are going to get paid well. But, I mean, how much longer, Reen? How much longer till the UFC goes there? I mean, it seems like it's going to become a destination. It's going to be like Las Vegas of the Middle East soon.
I know, right? Like WWE goes there.
I mean, they kind of started it, right? I've never heard of a big boxing match in Saudi Arabia or a big MMA event in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. The UFC, whatever it is, when is that? October? August? No, October. We're in August.
Oh, Abu Dhabi?
Yeah.
September. That's the next one.
September.
That's the next February. That's 242.
Yeah, that's right. It's getting close. Yeah, I was surprised that they were doing this in Saudi Arabia. I didn't get it because they were both like asking like Mexico or the United States or somewhere in Europe. And
Well, Ruiz was asking specifically for Mexico or the United States, and I'm sure Joshua would have loved England. But I mean, I hope they're happy with the money they're making. But and I don't know. I don't expect fighters to have a high morale, but I don't know. I have a deep detest. I detest Saudi Arabia as most rational human beings should.
well, yeah, and some of these females that cover the sport of boxing, like they were asking if they're allowed to even do their jobs.
Yeah. I mean, I tweeted when that announcement came out, like, yeah, time to go watch the rematch, ladies. Who wants to come with me? Yeah,
It's crazy. Like the wrestlers can't go; they don't have any females. It's all males. So the talent can't go.
Yeah.
I mean, journalists, people that cover the sport that are females, like, are they going to be able to go? Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Insane, man. I don't know why they do that, but I mean, I guess
Money.
the money's really good.
Money's the only one, man. They got that
They're
oil
giving them,
money.
they're giving them like bricks and shit and gold.
Probably, yeah. Golden toilets and shit. Yeah. But yeah, that doesn't. Well, I don't know. I guess Andrew Ruiz was saying that wasn't set in stone, and Eddie Hearn saying it is. So I guess it's a bit of a rumor at this point. But yeah, you're not gonna announce Saudi Arabia out of the blue like that. I'm sure it's gonna happen.
Oh, hell no. Yeah, it's going to happen. Somebody's going to die.
Yeah. Shout outs to Khashoggi. But yeah. Anyway, we're done with headlines. Let's get into our matchup segment. It was announced that Walt Harris, fresh off of his 11-second TKO of Alexei Oleinik, he's gonna fight Alistair Overeem, and it's scheduled to be a 5-round main event. It's a ESPN card happening December 7th in Washington D.C. I mean, I'm not the biggest Overeem fan, Reen, but I know you are. What do you think about this one?
Damn. I don't know. I don't want him to fight anymore. At least he's taking a longer break to fight again, before he fights again. So.
Overeem?
Yeah, because the last time he fought was what?
Yeah, say what you want about Overeem. He's always been pretty active.
Yeah. So this is 6 months, maybe? Yeah, 6 months, 7 months. So, I mean, I like it. It's the main card or the main event.
So
I like it, but I don't. Sorry.
But you're going for Overeem, I assume?
Of course.
Okay, all right, just making sure. Because Walt Harris still scares the bejesus out of me, so yeah, I'm going for Walt Harris. Always.
He's a fucking monster, man. God damn.
Those Southern football players, man, they're built differently. That dude's a fucking athlete. Another big fight. Kaylin Chookagian is gonna fight Jennifer Maia, scheduled for UFC 244 at a Madison Square Garden. I don't know how to feel about this fight. I mean, I love it on paper, but I'm still kind of pissed at Maia.
Oh, because of the weight cut issue.
Yeah. And Chookagian's the number one girl, and had she made weight, Maya would definitely be deserving of this, I think. But I hate it because although I do like Shikagian, I like Maya way better, and it's kind of putting me in a position where I kind of want Maya to lose to teach her a lesson, you know?
Oh, gotcha. I'm not surprised about this. I mean, I like it, but I'm not surprised that, Chukugin's not getting the title shot.
Mm.
I mean, maybe they want more flyweights to show up a little, and then they
Well,
feed her to Valentina. So,
let's talk about more flyweights because there's another fight that just got announced. Vivian Araujo, straight off of her win off Alexis Davis, is fighting Jessica Ai, who just fought for the title. Schedules for UFC 245, December 14th, which is 2 days after my birthday, happening in T-Mobile Arena in Vegas. This is shit. I'm not mad at them pushing. Okay, overall, I'm not mad at them pushing Maya because she's a former Invicta champion. She's a veteran. But Vivian Araujo, man, I mean, they're pushing this girl hard.
dude, it's crazy. This will be her fourth fight in 1 year.
She's reminding me a lot of like Israel Adesanya or Francis Ngannou. You know, as far as like how much they're pushing her, the big fights they're giving her so quick. This is big, man. And honestly, I think she could beat Ai and beat her easily and probably convincingly.
I think so too. I think so. They finally have her ranked. She's ranked number 7.
In flyweight or in bantamweight?
Flyweight.
Oh, that's good. This is the
Yeah.
right weight class.
Yep, they put her on the board, so I'm excited about that. So if she takes her out,
I mean, if she gets there, if she beats Ai and she's next for the belt, I mean, I don't know. Because right now with these two fights is an interesting matchup. Do you give it to the winner of Shukagian and Maya? Especially if Maya wins, with her weight cut issues, do you really want to give it to her? And then, Ai's got a long way to go, but if Vivian wins, do you throw her in there against Shukagian or Maya, or do you just give her the... I mean, look, Shevchenko hasn't taken any damage. If she wants to be active, she can be.
mm-hmm.
So I guess it's just a matter of who Shevchenko... Not up to her who she wants to fight exactly, but, I mean, depending on schedule, I guess. They're only a month apart, so...
Yeah.
I guess it just depends on who takes more damage, if any.
Yeah. I was excited when they announced it. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, interesting stuff. And man, if Vivian wins, especially if she beats Shevchenko, I mean, I said it then. I think she can become a star. But yeah, she has all the makings. Her English is coming along so well. She's got a personality. She's not bad looking. She's got some stuff going on. Sorry, Irene, I know we're talking off air about the whole looks thing, but Vivian's more classic, I should say. She's more original and more natural with her look. But yeah, UFC tends to do that too, stuff. So. Yeah, yep.
That's a good look.
Yep. Another fight that was announced: Mark Jacasey is fighting Lando Venata. This seems like a fight that has been scheduled or they fought before already, but apparently they haven't. Jacasey, who did he beat last? Oh, Duffy, right?
It was Duffy. That's right. He was fighting for his job.
In England, I remember that he started crying.
Yes.
Yeah, that was bad. Well, I mean, it was good, but it was I'm sure
it was emotional.
It was very emotional. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lando Venata, I'm trying to. Oh, he submitted that one dude. I don't fucking remember his name. Some Brazilian dude. They took him off the street before the Anderson Silva Adesanya fight. I forget his name. Little guy.
I can't remember.
Yeah, it was a last minute thing, but he looked good. He got a submission. I mean, this is an action fight if I've ever seen it, man. I have no idea who's gonna win this one, but I know it's gonna be exciting. So one more reason to watch UFC Copenhagen. I guess they did announce Cannonier and Hermanson too. I guess that's official. So they're gonna be fighting under them.
Cool.
Yep. Another fight. Another European. Stefan Struve. He's back. I guess that was a short-lived retirement. I guess his heart's better. Probably not. Probably not. But yeah, he's coming back and he's gonna fight Ben Rothwell. Also on the DC card, happening in December. I don't even know what to make of this fight. This is another fight that seems like has been booked a million times and they should have fought already but never did.
Yeah, I'm not excited about it.
I mean, it's just more of a shocker that Struve is still fighting kind of thing,
Yeah.
There's that fight. Ally Quinta and Dan Hooker have verbally agreed to a 243 card. This is the Australian card in October, the Izzy versus Whitaker card.
Wait, it's verbally agreed? It's not official?
Not official from what I saw.
What the hell?
I don't see why they don't make it. Iaquinta doesn't take a lot of fights, so if he's agreeing to this, just fucking sign it already, because he tends to back out of shit too. He's kind of special that way. So.
Well, it's August already, and this card is gonna be October.
Mhm.
And they're still trying to stack this card.
Yeah, this is common. They do this all the time.
What the fuck, man? They need to hurry up.
No. They do this all the time. This is nothing new. Yeah.
It's all the way out there, though. That's a lot of traveling and shit.
You remember Ferguson and Cerrone? They added that shit like 3 weeks before the fucking card.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they do this all the time.
It's just insane to me that they keep doing this.
Yeah, it's not smart, especially when you're traveling across the world in a stadium. But hey, they have their job and I have mine. I don't know what to say. And in the last bit of questionable, bad, depressing news, Little Nog is still fighting, scheduled to fight Trevor Smith, who I don't even know who that dude is. But yeah, he's gonna fight in Sao Paulo, a ESPN Plus card on November 16th.
What the hell are we doing?
What's we doing? I mean, I don't think this is BJ Penn level of get the fuck out of here, but it's damn near close. I mean, the worst thing that can happen is if he wins.
I mean, there's 600 people on the roster. They had to tap Little Nog?
Yeah, Cat got cut. Yet Ostovich is still on the roster.
Like, what the hell? When is he going to retire, man? Come on.
You know what's weird is that I think I kind of noticed is that I think they haven't. It's weird because Big Nog is like supposed to be like a talent scout or something down there, but it seems like they haven't got a lot of talent. Like they haven't got a lot of new Brazilian stars. It seems like they're still. I mean, look at the card this year, the Andrade card, Anderson, Aldo. I mean, take nothing away from them. Obviously they're legends, but it's like, dude, they're not in their prime. Like you got to get some new guys. You can't stick with Anderson and Aldo. Well, Cyborg's gone already. Shogun. I mean, I don't remember the last time Shogun fought, but I guarantee you he'd probably be on this card too. Like, come on, man.
But the Brazilians are cycling off still. What? Sorry.
I'm not even gonna go there. Not even gonna go there. That's a topic for another day, and we're approaching the end of the show. So yeah, let's finish it up. That's it for MMA. So let's get into the new stuff. And the headline is Chemicals Turning Fish Gay, New Threat to Water Safety in Malaysia. So I've seen a story like this before, but I guess it's making its way either around the world or just other countries are experiencing it. Yeah, apparently thanks to birth control and a bunch of the pills that a lot of people take, it's fucking up the water supply and it's making fish gay and trans. The chemicals aren't exactly good for them. And the craziest thing to me about this story was that they're saying be careful of how much you eat fish because it can even affect you. I don't know if they're saying that this can make you gay or trans, but that seems to be what they're implying.
The headline, man, it's just crazy to me. Oh,
yes,
clickbaity and shit. Come on, man.
It's not clickbaity because it's true.
Well,
I mean, this is real research. It is.
I get the research part. I understand the science behind it. It's explained on the article, but it's just funny that gay. They're turning fish gay.
Well, it is turning fish gay.
Can't they just say like it's turning the fish into a male or a female?
Well, because it's both.
Is it gay? Is it gay?
Yes, because Male fish are going with male fish, and female fish are going with female fish. It's like
Oh my god.
they're
That's so
not going
funny.
with they're not going with biology or whatever. And then some fish are male but have female genitals or something. Like, yeah.
Even in the animal kingdom,
Well, I
like
mean, I guess
calling
you
them
can blame us.
gay and trans. Jeez, man. It is our fault.
It is our fault.
You know? It's just funny to me,
We
man.
make them this way.
Yeah. Fuck, man.
Yeah, I mostly picked the story out because it just reminded me of the infamous Alex Jones because I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the freaking frogs gay, and people were like laughing at that dude, like, man, this dude's fucking nuts. What the fuck is he talking about? He's a fucking lunatic, and it turns out he was kind of right.
So funny. Just have to minimize your fish intake now.
Yeah. How do you feel about this, Rain? I mean, this is happening in Malaysia. I mean, I know you're not Malaysian, but obviously you guys kind of more or less share the ocean around there in Okinawa. I'm sure you've eaten a lot more fish in your life than I have. I'm not the biggest fish fan, so
Will I turn gay if I eat so much, like, if I eat a lot of fish?
I mean, I guess it depends where you are, but maybe that might not be a bad thing. Maybe you can actually hook up with Andraj now, you know?
Well, she's married.
Oh shit, that's right.
Damn it.
Well, I'll put myself on blast here. It hasn't stopped me in the past with some of the marriage. I'm speaking for myself. I won't say anything for you because I don't know.
Oh,
But
man.
yeah,
That
I'm
sucks.
yeah. I don't know if it sucks. It is fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Just the title's funny to me. Like, it's turning it gay.
It kind of just makes you stop to think. Like, if it's making this to fish gay and trans, like, what's it do to women? Does this mean that women can also turn lesbian or something? Because obviously there's a lot of hormones in those pills, but I don't know.
If they
It's
change,
weird that it would apply to one animal and not the other.
it's so funny. They change fish sexual preferences by disrupting their hormones so that males become attracted to males and females to females. In
Yeah,
essence, gay and lesbian fish.
exactly. Not a joke. Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Okay. I've seen it all.
So, if anything we've learned from this episode and then the last episode, so if you want to be very manly, do not recycle and do not eat fish. And you'll become Clint Eastwood, apparently.
Oh, shit.
Just refrain from those two things, and you never have to worry about turning gay. Wear fanny packs, do whatever the fuck you want, but just don't eat fish and recycle.
Fanny pack.
I've never worn, well, I don't think I've ever worn a fanny pack, but I don't
Ever?
have it. I don't think so.
They're great.
I'm sure. And I don't even hate on dudes that do it. It's just like, god damn, you gotta have a lot of fucking confidence. It's like that old line about man bags, like a satchel.
Yeah.
Like you have to be a super manly man to pull it off, like Indiana Jones. You gotta have like only super manly men can pull off a satchel.
That shit's funny.
That does it for tonight. Enough talk of the gays and fighting and depressing shit like Zingano getting cut and Conor McGregor fucking up old dudes, but
Fucking Connor.
but yeah, I'll be watching the fight live on Saturday, going to the weigh-ins. Technically today, because the episode's out on Friday. So keep an eye out on social media. I'll probably be posting pictures, videos, depending on how good my view is of whatever's going on. So you can follow me at Juice_MMA on Twitter and Instagram. At iFoxWithJuice is the podcast account. What about you, Rain?
Fox with you on Twitter and Instagram.
And I think that's about does it. I did a little guest spot on Just Bleed. I mentioned that earlier. If you guys haven't caught that, want a little bit more of bullshit and racist jokes, and on another podcast, you could catch me there. I'm working on a story right now that I hope is going to be out in a few hours. Keep up to date. There should be a lot going on my social media right now. So appreciate you guys all for listening, and we'll catch you all next week. Thank you.